Today on Make a Drink, it's into the unknown as I try my way through 9 random, odd, obscure, and new bottles that I haven't had before. Usually, when I make a video on YouTube, I'm very prepared. I've done some research. I kind of know what I'm talking about, or at least I seemingly know what I'm talking about. But every now and then, I want to do something different, or I'm shopping and I see a bottle of something that I don't know that much about, or I find a recipe that calls for something and I pick it up. And then it's the need to learn more about that bottle that kind of stops me from using it or talking about it because I feel like everything needs to be in a YouTube video. So I put it to the side and sometimes I forget about it for weeks, months, sometimes a decade, which we'll talk about that bottle later. But I thought today I'm just going to pick out some of those bottles I've been avoiding using or ones I need to use in the coming weeks that I haven't tried yet and taste through them. So they're not all rum based, they're not all liqueurs. It's just kind of a collection of the odd finds that you'll find over here on the make and drink sidebar where I kind of keep all of my storage. For each bottle, I'll also give you a little backstory as to why I even have this. First up, it's the Rum Barbancourt Pngo. And if you've searched Rum Barbancourt at all, you may have seen this bottle out there. I saw it online all the time. And then a few months back, I saw it at a local liquor store. And the bottle was pretty dusty, damaged. And I thought that maybe they were going to stop making this. Now, it turns out this is just the older Barbancourt bottle style. You can find this in new bottles. But all I know is that it's probably got some spice and some fruit notes to it. I think it's the only rum barbacoa liqueur that's available, at least to my knowledge, in the United States. And that's it. So let's try it. It's very sweet, very mango, like fresh fruit. So you do have pictures of the pineapple, mango, and that's about it. Rum with natural fruit and spice flavors. It's 35% ABV. This is a great, not overwhelming, sweet smell. You know, sugar has a smell to it. Doesn't smell cloying, but it just has like a fresh sweetness to it. All right, let's try it. Cheers. I mean, the label's giving it away there. It's mango and pineapple. There's a touch of fresh sugar taste to it, but it's not leaning too much into the fresh sugarcane juice style rums that Barbancourt's known for. Barbancourts are usually relatively mild when you compare those to cachaças or rum agricoles, but it's pretty pleasant. I don't know if it's strong enough to hold up in like a cocktail with a bunch of ingredients, but I think in a daiquiri that would work well. I'm not going to be making any cocktails today, just trying them. But in the future, I think that would be the place to start with this. I mean, I'm not seeing much past the label there, but yeah, it's a mango and pineapple haichu. That's the flavors I get. And for any of the bottles I'm sharing today, if you've had these before, let me know about your tasting notes in the comments below because these aren't all like exceptionally rare bottles. They're just things that for some reason or other I haven't cracked open yet. So let's move on to our next one, which is Bitter Journey Bing Zhao. This is a Chinese rhubarb amaro, which is made in the Bay Area. It's known to me because it's in a couple of cocktails at Smuggler's Cove. Those cocktails are not in the Smuggler's Cove book, but they are on the menu there. As far as the last time I checked, I knew you could buy this at Bitters and Bottles, and there's a couple other retailers nationwide. But I've had it once before in a cocktail at Smuggler's Cove, and I've tried this one. I got this bottle about 2 years ago. Just never used it. I never made that cocktail, but let's give it a shot now. Ooh, it's intense. Very medicinal, lots of dried herbs. Has an expected bitterness, an expected lingering bitter finish, but there is a lot of I would I would I would go more than baking spice, but like a dry spiciness. Coriander or cilantro, and then a little bit of what's the spice I'm thinking of? Cardamom, but in a strange way, it's not paired with a lot of sweetness. There's sweetness in there, but that bitterness kind of cancels it out. It has a really intense flavor. It would be very cliche to say Chinese five spice, but I can't think of much else. It's hard to see the applications for this outside of cocktails that use this, unless this category of Amari is interesting to you. It's also cliche and lame to say, but if you were looking for a Chinese Amaro, then that's kind of exactly what I imagine a Chinese Amaro to taste like. Next up, it's RumHaven, Caribbean rum with coconut liqueur, 21% alcohol by volume. I've done a couple videos on coconut rums and coconut liqueurs, at least talking about them, and I know people are always recommending different ones. I don't know if anyone's recommended this one. I picked this up at my mom's house. I saw it in her liquor cabinet, and I took it a few months ago. I don't know how old that bottle is. It could be years old for all I know. Product of Canada. It's imported by Grande Antilles Cane Spirits in Healdsburg, California. Ooh, coconutty. Um, you know, let's go back to some cliches. Sunscreen, but that's because they put the coconut in the sunscreen. They put that smell in there. They're trying to make it smell like this. It has a little bit of that toasted smell to it as well. I like that. It's not bad. It's definitely coconut first and foremost. There's a little bit of like a white chocolate thing going on there, and it's not too sweet. I don't know if I personally pick up the coconut water. It does feel like there's a little, like a touch bit more of that salinity that coconut water can provide, but it's not the taste, overwhelming taste of coconut water. It doesn't taste like bad sunscreen as people will talk about other coconut products. It's light. I think it's pretty refreshing as far as the liqueur goes, and it's not bad at all. Next up is Barenjager honey liqueur, 35% alcohol by volume. First, I am aware that this is not rare. This might be the most well-known honey liqueur. You can tell it's a honey liqueur just by looking at the bottle. But the reason it's unique for me is because I've had this bottle for 10 years exactly. And I've not opened it. I don't know why. 10 years ago, my wife and I moved into the home we currently live in. And as lame as this might sound, I still think it's a good idea. We had a housewarming party, and we had other friends who had done like housewarming parties, and you would take a bottle of wine or something, and I knew we had kind of a smaller bar at the time, and I thought, well, what would be fun is if people wanted to do like a stock the bar party. So we told people, feel free to come. We'll provide cocktails and wine and beer and food. And if you'd like to, we would like you to help us stock our bar. Go pick out anything. Like really, we said anything. And I thought the more obscure, the more creative people wanted to get, the better. We got a lot of interesting things. And this bottle came from my good buddy Nick. So Nick, thank you. Been holding on to it for 10 years. And I still have a bunch of bottles. I have a bottle of Callan that someone bought me. We had a bunch of things that are hard to find now, like Eagle Rare whiskey. So many other like liqueurs. I got a bottle of Cherry Herring over here from 10 years ago. It's just a fun thing. Obviously, like asking your friends to go buy you stuff is a little weird, but it's better than a bottle of wine, and it's more fun. I think it's more fun for them too. It'd be fun if you invite me somewhere. Tell me to go pick out something weird. So let's try this. That's not a honey aroma or like a honey candy. That's like sticking your nose into a jar of honey. Cheers. Thanks, Nick. Very sweet. It's the most viscous one so far. It has the flavor of honey. I can't really discern much more than that. A little bit of bitterness there too, like a little bit of honey medicinal, like kind of like honey cough medicine going on. But yeah, I guess if you need a honey liqueur, then Barenjager, probably the one for you. It's Starr African Ultra Superior Light Rum from Mauritius. Don't see a lot of rum coming from Africa, the stuff we usually see. It's coming from Mauritius. And this bottle I picked up because it is something that they use in Disney World. It's in a couple of Animal Kingdom cocktails. I have a couple of those I'm going to do in the future. And I don't know about the bottle. I kind of love it, but I also hate it. It is an interesting looking bottle, but it doesn't really fit most places. But it stands out. I mean, if you're going for a bottle that stands out, that's got to be one of the most standout bottles that there is. A little bit of fruitiness, mainly, ethanol, nail polish remover, but it's light. I don't know if this is supposed to be good or not. It's probably $30, but it's a little bit rarer. But as an actual product, is it supposed to be good? Do people love this? I don't know. I haven't done any research on it. It has a nice creaminess, which you'll hear often in some light rum reviews, which I generally never pick up. It's pretty light on the fruitiness, but it does have that creaminess and like a little sweet cotton candy thing going on. My interest is piqued because it's kind of missing that quintessential light rum, that fruity note you get from Bacardi or Don Q. Uh, that's missing, but it's not because like the Captain Morgan, like a lower quality, purely vodka thing going on. So that's interesting. I'm excited to use this in cocktails. Definitely gonna revisit this sometime soon in a daiquiri. All right, we got four more to go. I think these are going to be the most fun of them all. And the first one is Luxardo Espresso. You might be wondering why I didn't include this bottle in a recent video I did about 3 weeks ago on coffee liqueurs because I didn't have it. There's a bottle coming up in this video that I had to drive a couple towns over to get. And when I was there, I saw this on sale. I didn't need it, but I thought it might be interesting. So let's see. Luxardo Espresso, 27% alcohol by volume. It's a blend of beans sourced from Brazil, Colombia, and Kenya. And I kind of like the Great Gatsby vibe going on with that label. Uh, let's see. It's like most of the other coffee liqueurs. It's not like a fresh coffee. It's like a little bit of a stale coffee note. Pretty sweet, not as sweet as Kahlua. It has a robust coffee flavor. I think maybe a little more robust than Kahlua. Less of the chocolate, vanilla, more coffee. So did I really need this since I have those other ones? No, not really. Do I regret buying it? Well, we'll see. See how well this video does. It's looking like I probably will though. I didn't know this was gonna be purple. This is Marie Brizard Parfait Amour. It's 25% alcohol by volume, and it is a smooth combination of sweet orange spirits from Spain, infusion of vanilla from Madagascar, and hint of orange blossom. The bottle looks black. I don't know what I was expecting. Not purple and violet. Something I need for a historic cocktail coming up. And I've never had this. This is kind of a staple in a lot of old prohibition, pre-prohibition style cocktails. And Marie Brizard is not a brand that I see very much on the West Coast. See it in a lot of videos of people using it, but I don't see it for sale often. This is the only Parfait More that I could find online in the state of California. And yeah, I'm interested to try it. Floral orange, like a floral curacao. I did a little bit of research on historic Parfait Amours, which often had almond and rose petals. This could have all those things, but the description here just says that it's an orange curacao with vanilla and orange blossom. So let's try it. I think I like this. It's one of those strange liqueurs where the flavor is better than the aroma. The aroma, there's almost like something very sweet and off-putting there, but the flavor is very much vanilla and orange and like a creaminess, very reminiscent of an orange Julius, but different. There's like a touch of that like floral note going on from like an orange blossom that you would get like in a Ramesh Fizz or in an Horchata. I don't really know what else to do with it if a cocktail doesn't call for it, but I kind of like it. I kind of think it tastes pretty good. If you have ever had this, and you've also had the Nassau Royale liqueur, which was made by Bacardi, used in some of the older Bahama Mama recipes, let me know because I have a feeling that this is similar, that vanilla orange, but I have no idea. So if you ever had that, let me know in the comments below. If you've had this before, let me know. It's weird, but kind of like it. So this is a bottle I traveled a couple towns over to get. It's Liquor 43 Horchata. So why did I get it? Well, these are questions I ask myself every single day. There's a cocktail coming up. I was going to not use it and instead use RumChata and Liquor 43. But then I found a bottle at a Bevmo, drove a couple towns over to get it. I hope it's good. I don't know what else I'm going to use it in. I got one cocktail for it. Very, very floral. Very like fruity floralness, like a fruity cereal milk. I am filled with regret. Let's see if the flavor changes my mind. Oh, I'm yeah. Man, that's a bummer. That's that is god awful. I guess there's a little bit of the rice milk cinnamon. I don't know if you think about Liquor 43, it's not just vanilla. There's a lot of other flavors in there. And there's this strange spice, floral, unappetizing thing going on here. I think I would have been better off just using RumChata and Liquor 43. The aroma is much better because the aroma is much milder. The aftertaste is awful as well. It just seems like hey, RumChata's doing well. We should do it too. Sometimes you shouldn't. Sometimes you shouldn't do it. I thought this might be the best thing today. I didn't think it would be hands down the worst thing today. Well, we're not going higher class here because we're doing RumChata Peppermint Bark. 14% alcohol by volume. Some of you have questions. You want to know, why on earth do I have a bottle of RumChata Peppermint Bark? And I don't have a great answer, but 4 years ago, I was gifted a bottle of RumChata. Thanks. I don't really do much with cream liqueurs, so it's kind of just been on the shelf. And then when I started doing more and more rum content here, I thought it would be kind of interesting to do a video on RumChata because it is a rum liqueur. And in the world of YouTube, you often YouTube cocktails. You make the cocktail video. With the cocktails you make, you take a thumbnail picture, and thumbnails are important in YouTube. But outside of cocktails and cooking, if you explore like how to YouTube, they often tell you, like in the world of like Mr. Beast and those people, you should come up with a thumbnail first. So before you even have a concept of a video, you start with the thumbnail. The thumbnail is the concept. So it might be the worst hotels, something like that. I don't know. And you design your thumbnail first, and then you make a video based on that, which it's different than cocktails or cooking because you have an end product in mind. But this was one where I thought about it that way. I thought, well, it might be cool to have a thumbnail that had all the different RumChatas. And then when I started looking into RumChata more, I wanted to find cocktails to make with it, and I could not find one single good cocktail. Everything was like a shot. So I did a little video for Patreon, and I thought about doing it more. This was like a year plus ago, and I gave up because it's hard to do videos when you just aren't into it. But in tasting them, I thought that this one was okay. This has been about a year and a half, but let's see if it's still good. There's a pleasantness to this, and there's also like a chocolatey peppermint thing, but just I think RumChata in general, there's a pleasantness to it, which the Liquor 43 totally abandoned that idea. It's delicious. Like it really is delicious. It tastes like a creamy, chocolatey, minty liqueur. And I think if you like Bailey's in your coffee, probably like this. I don't have any personal applications to use this because having this is just like another dessert-like thing. But if you like the creamy cocktails, you like Bailey's, it's not bad at all. It's pretty tasty. It's pretty delicious. Pretty sweet. It tastes good. So I'm not recommending it. I don't want you to go buy it. I just think if you like these flavors, they're pretty good. Well, there you go, everybody. Truly, truly this time, for sure, the video that nobody was asking for. Just tasting through 9 different random things here at the Make and Drink bar. All of them pretty fine, except for one. And if you want to know more about these things, I kind of expanded on them the best that I could, but feel free to ask me questions in the comments below. Please give this video a like, subscribe to this channel if you have not already, you want to support this channel more, go check out my Patreon page, and otherwise, see you on the next one.